Welcome everybody to another episode of Tabor Time Explains It All. In this episode we will be covering yet another support streak, the Ground Jammer. The Ground Jammer is a powerful support streak that shuts down the enemy team's electronic support, disabling their minimap and destroying all ground equipment and drone support. You can obtain the Ground Jammer by getting 12 non-consecutive kills or 11 with Hardline. So before I get into some details about the Ground Jammer and what it destroys, let me go over some popular myths. So prior to making this video, I scoured the internet and looked for some details about the Ground Jammer, but there's very little out there. However, I did find some incorrect pieces of information. First of all, I saw a lot of people say that if you throw a care package down while the Ground Jammer is going on, you won't get your care package. This is absolutely false, as you can't throw anything down while the Ground Jammer is active. You can't even call in a kill streak. I'm pretty sure the person that posted this got it mixed up with air superiority. Another popular myth is that the Ground Jammer is radius based. This is also incorrect. When you call in the Ground Jammer, it affects the entire map, not just a portion of it. The last big piece of incorrect information I saw on the internet is that it affects the Oracle. I'll cover in detail what it affects momentarily, but it does not affect the Oracle at all. So what exactly happens when you call in the Ground Jammer? Well, in previous games, the EMP was quite powerful, especially in Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3. However, this one is not exactly that powerful, but it is very useful. I see a lot of people play it off as if it's nothing, but it's actually a very good support streak. They did seem to nerf it a little bit in comparison to prior EMPs, especially the portion where it disables the minimap. A lot of people think that this effect lasts 30 seconds or more, when in actuality it lasts 10 seconds. That is abysmal. If you're running this streak just to disable your enemy's minimap, I would advise against it. 10 seconds is garbage. However, I guess that is 10 seconds where they can't call in any streaks. I don't know what the reasoning behind this was. I think 30 seconds would be sufficient. When you call in a chem strike, you can't use kill streaks for 90 seconds, so I'm not sure why they limited this to 10 seconds. Another thing that happens when you call the Ground Jammer in is an annoying flash of white light. I have no idea if this is a glitch or not, but this white light flashes you, your enemy, and your teammates. I've called in hundreds of Ground Jammers, and this white light seems to vary considerably. Sometimes when you call it in, it doesn't flash you at all. Sometimes it doesn't flash your teammates. Sometimes it flashes you and your teammates, and sometimes it's so quick that you can't even notice it. It's completely random, and I have no idea what's going on with it. I thought maybe it was a glitch, but I haven't heard anything from Infinity Ward to state as such. All I know is it gets me killed a lot, it gets my teammates killed a lot, and sometimes it doesn't even affect the enemy that much. So what exactly does the Ground Jammer destroy? Well, that is where it really shines. It can take out both types of SATCOMs. My favorite is that it takes out the IMS. There are very few things that protect you from the IMS in this game. The obvious one is the Night Owl. If you're lucky and you're running Agility and Marathon, you can sometimes sneak away from the blast. However, other than that, that's it. Besides, of course, the Ground Jammer. Next, it can take out the Sentry Gun. And the last assault kill streak it can take out is the Vulture. Not many people realize this, but it definitely can take the Vulture out. How frustrating, though, to get a 9 assault kill streak and have it destroyed instantly by the Ground Jammer. That's what makes this really powerful. Of course, the Vulture sucks, so not many people run it. However, the Sentry Gun is 7 kills, and that can also get destroyed by the Ground Jammer, so it's pretty frustrating. Despite what the strategy guide says on this game, the Ground Jammer does not take out the ammo crate. However, it can take out the Night Owl, which is the highest streak it's able to destroy. When it comes to equipment, this thing takes out a lot of things. It destroys trophy systems, motion sensors, IEDs, and C4. It seems to have no effect on knives, any kind of Juggernaut suits, or care packages if you call them in before someone hits the Ground Jammer. Curiously, this is only supposed to destroy enemy equipment. However, on some occasions, I've seen it blow up my own teammates' stuff. Sometimes it's pretty hilarious as to the result of this. There's one hidden gem to the Ground Jammer that not many people know about. Most people realize that it can destroy IEDs and C4, however they don't realize that if their enemy is standing on top of it when you call the Ground Jammer in, they can potentially die. Watch here in this clip, I have 3 of my friends set up some IEDs and C4, and I throw my own C4 as well. They're standing relatively close to where they threw it, and I call the Ground Jammer in and they all die. That's one of the main reasons I run this Ground Jammer, since there's loads of IEDs all over the map, especially in free-for-all. Calling in a Ground Jammer gets a chance to net some extra kills. So knowing all that, I still don't see how people can call this streak useless. It can destroy 4 things in the assault kill streak list, 2 things in the support streak list, and almost half the equipment out there. It disables your enemy's minimap for 10 seconds, as well as the ability to call in streaks. And lastly, it flashes the crap out of them. It is certainly situational though, and I think that's the problem here. If you're like me, as soon as you get a streak, you want to instantly call it in. You should not do that with this Ground Jammer. If you call it in when there's no enemy streaks or enemy equipment on the ground, it does nothing but disable the minimap and streaks for 10 seconds. If that's its sole benefit, then it's certainly useless. So I recommend that when you get the ground jammer, you wait. I know if you have an itchy trigger finger, it'll be hard, but you just gotta hold off. The announcer announces every time the enemy calls in a streak, so just listen carefully, or I'm pretty sure it even prompts with words on the screen when someone calls something in. So just wait for someone to call in a SATCOM, an IMS, a sentry, a night owl, or a vulture, and then call it in. How infuriating would that be? You finally get your streak, you call it in, and someone on an enemy team instantly destroys it. It's hard enough to get streaks in this game, but to have them killed instantly by the ground jammer, that's annoying. And sure, you may not see IMS, sentry guns, night owls, or vultures every game, but don't tell me there's no SATCOMs every game. There's at least one noob running the SATCOM in every game you play. SATCOM plus ground jammer equals more points and more points towards your own streaks, as every time you blow something up, it counts as a point for your own streak. So in conclusion, this streak is far from useless. It's actually one of the best streaks in the game if you know when and how to use it right. I also recommend that you put sitrep on. If you can see where the enemy has placed all their equipment, then you have the advantage. Couple it with the Oracle streak, and you can definitely see if someone's sitting right on top of their own C4 or IED, and you can blow them to smithereens. So just be patient with this streak. Don't call it in immediately, but wait for the right opportunity. It does have a few drawbacks, but it is certainly one of the best support streaks this game has to offer. Click the video on the screen to check out my previous Tabor Time Explains It All, the Helo Scout review. If you have a certain topic you want me to cover next on my series, please leave a comment below and let me know what it is. I'm going to shuffle a few papers in the background, make it seem like I'm doing something important.